we want to start with, so you came from Germany and then you
Uh-huh.
did your undergrad in Berkeley.
That's
But
right.
I'm wondering, what did you grow up doing that led you to what you're doing now? Who were you as a kid? Is there anything you miss about Germany?
Yeah, so I actually didn't grow up in Germany ever.
Okay.
I left. Well, that's not quite true. For 5 years I did, and then my family moved to Vienna, Austria, and then they moved to Spain, to Malaga, and then from there to the U.S.
Wow.
It was really, my father had a construction financing company, and so there were big projects that took years and years to build, like hotels and stuff like that. So it was kind of like the military children, except it was the construction
Right.
children. So I went to a French school as a like elementary school and middle school student, and then a Spanish school as a high school student, and then finally in the U.S. I went as a high school student to an American school. I was 16 though when I came here, so I still have a German accent that didn't quite go away. My brother's 4 years younger. You wouldn't be able to tell he's not a native American. Like 12 years, that's young enough that no more accent at that age. And well, as far as what I do or what how I got into it, I wanted to be a scientist actually since I was a young child. Some people it hits them in high school or sometimes even college, but I was interested in that since I was like 5 or 6. And in fact, children don't have that many memories from when they're like 5 years old. But I have this one memory of my father mowing the lawn in Austria. He did it only twice a year, so usually let the grass grow about to here.
Right.
And then the gas ran out. And so I asked him, so what do you mix with water to make gasoline? Because I was 5 years old, and to me, I knew orange juice is water with orange pulp in it, and coffee is water with some black, not very tasty stuff in it, and milk is water with white stuff in it. So I figured, gasoline must be water with something.
Right.
He said, there's no water in gasoline. My jaw dropped. And I'm like, what? So what is it? It's like things can be liquids and they don't have to have water in them, right? And so I asked him, like, who figures that out? And he says, well, like chemists or physicists. And so I said, that's what I want to do. And so a couple of years later, I had a chemistry lab. Back in those days in Austria, it was very different from now. Like the world is very secure now. Yeah? Your moms are watching you on cell phones and whatever. Your friends text you every 20 seconds. So none of this stuff existed, right? There were no cell phones. There was no nothing. So I would, as a 9-year-old in Vienna, I'd walk into a chemistry supply store on campus of the university in downtown Vienna and ask for like concentrated sulfuric acid and glycerol and whatever. And they're just like, sure, yeah, handed it to me. That wouldn't happen here. I don't think a 9-year-old could walk into any chemical supply store and buy.
With the raising eyebrows.
Especially if they asked for like concentrated acid and glycerol, people would start thinking, and nitric acid as well, like, yeah. Okay, what are you trying to do? Because, at a certain age, you're only interested in blowing stuff up. So that's what I did. But eventually, my family ended up moving to Spain and then to the United States. And so that's how I ended up in the US. But at that point, I really already wanted to